Toledo at 5'6". Both fighters at 122. Wilkens at 122.5. Reach advantage for Wilkens, and both fighters at 20 years of age. So Frank Toledo against Shawn Wilkens. And this bout was scheduled for 4 rounds in the junior featherweight division. We pick it up with round 1. So we get set for 4 rounds in the junior featherweight division. The referee is Randy Newman. Frank Holy Toledo out of Patterson, New Jersey, 4-2. There is Holy Toledo, 20 years of age, 122 pounds. In the other corner, in the black and gold trunks, Shawn Wilkens, also out of Patterson. He is also 4-2. He is also 20. Round 1 scheduled for 4. And Wilkens putting on the pressure early on to Toledo.
And being given the ages of the fighters and where they've been in their careers so far, this promises to be an action bout. Toledo will have to overcome a little reach disadvantage, and yet he's got the southpaw style in his favor.
Well, Toledo wearing the blue trunks. Shawn Wilkens in the black and gold. Round 1 scheduled for 4. These fighters are junior featherweights. That right hand just missed by Wilkens.
He's trying to time Toledo. He's just getting over the top with that shot.
And referee Newman steps in. 1 minute gone by here in this first round. Wilkens very wild, very awkward style, and it seems that Toledo has figured out Wilkens' style a little bit, and he's making Wilkens miss.
Well, he's trying to get underneath the shots by Wilkens, and Wilkens is right hand happy so far. It's such an obvious target for him. He's a little bit too intent on that.
Midway point of this first round, you see that wild right swing by Wilkens, and that style would appear that there's not much power behind it.
But he's got to set things up a little bit more with his jab, so he's stepping in with it.
What's the punch for Toledo to counter that wild miss?
First, he's got to get down low, and then the body shot is there, and the uppercut is also there because of the wide open defense is set up by Wilkens. Now, with his hands spread apart like that, the uppercut will be a good weapon. Headbutt might be the weapon for one of these fighters. Their heads are coming together quite a bit.
Good body shot there by Toledo. It was a left to the body. Frank Toledo in the blue. Shawn Wilkens in the black trunks. This is round 1 of a scheduled 4-round junior featherweight bout. Wilkens has been wild with the right. Toledo doing some counter punching here.
Nice movement too by Toledo.
Closing seconds of round 1. Round of a scheduled 4-round junior featherweight bout. Bob Papa along with Dave Coffee Bontempo. Glad you can join us. Frank Toledo in the blue trunks, the southpaw of Patterson. Shawn Wilkens in the black trunks. He is also out of Patterson, and Wilkens gets in a left hand there.
Nice local rivalry, bringing out both intense action and good support by the crowd as well. Toledo doing a nice job here getting underneath that jab, which is just being lazily thrown out by Wilkens. Wilkens has to stiffen up that jab if he wants to keep Toledo away. See, Wilkens is just looking for that big right hand, and he's using the left hand to just pour out there as a range finder.
It seems, though, that Wilkens may be able to overpower Toledo a little bit. Although he is wild, he appears to be a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, despite only a half-pound heavier.
If he can get that right hand home, he ought to be able to win this fight, but so far that's the only thing he's doing. Wilkens starting to go to the body just a little bit more, which he'll need to do. They're left-handed just out there to see where he can throw his right hand from.
Another wild miss by Wilkens. Oh, but he got in a shot and it snapped back the head of Toledo at the midway point of the second round.
That's a nice shot. Now he's got to put a couple together. He stood back and admired it for a second. And you're seeing here the benefit of Wilkens' reach so far in the second round. He's been able to keep Toledo away just a little bit better than he did in round one.
Good left hand by Toledo. And Wilkens appears quite tired. He is kind of gasping for air.
Well, he's been chasing Toledo, and the coordinated movement has been Toledo. The pursuit has been Wilkens.
And don't forget, sometimes missed punches are just as tiring, if not more, than anything else.
In this case, perhaps the body shots of Toledo taking some effect also in this fight. It's been a good pace on top of everything else.
Approaching the final seconds of this second round, it's scheduled for 4. Toledo against Wilkens.
Here at Wilkens' game plan, which is the big right hand, that was his best shot of the fight, but he did not follow it up.
And we begin round number 3 of this scheduled 4-round junior featherweight bout. Shawn Wilkens in the black trunks, Frank Toledo in the blue. Dave, how do you have it scored through the first 2?
Each fighter winning a round, Toledo getting the first round, and Wilkens coming on strong in round number 2.
And Toledo coming forward a little bit there. Good combination by Toledo.
In the second round, when Toledo did get inside the jab of Wilkens, he didn't throw enough punches. That was one thing his corner was admonishing him about between rounds.
Some blood in the mouth of Toledo. Nothing serious to this point. Body shot by Wilkens.
Awkward shots by Wilkens, but you're seeing how the reach advantage is in his favor. He's been winning these exchanges in close.
Midway point of round number 3. And a warning from referee Newman.
And an appropriate one as Wilkens getting tired and holding on behind the head before he throws.
Nice left hand by Toledo.
Been a lot of neat little interesting momentum shifts in this fight. Fighters get control, but not more for, say, 40 to 45 seconds at a time.
Wilkens in the black trunks has the raw power. Toledo appears to have the more advanced boxing skills.
And he's been a little bit more versatile from a style standpoint in this fight. Been waiting for Wilkens to throw an uppercut. And there's one, but that punch is open for him.
30 seconds to go in round number 3. Toledo blocked most of that one. Final seconds of this third round. We'll be back with the 4th and final round. So this 4th and final round gets underway as Frank Toledo and Shawn Wilkens touch gloves. Very close fight as we head into this final round of the junior featherweight bout.
It's one of those fights that can have heartbreak written all over it, as well as draw, given the nature of the distance of the fight.
Wilkens has lost his mouthpiece. In the state of New Jersey, the mouthpiece will be placed back in when there's a lapse in the action. Now, I don't know if there was really a lapse there, but referee Randy Newman decided to put the mouthpiece back in. There you get a look at Frank Toledo. Good body shot by Toledo. Good combination by Wilkens. So whenever you think Wilkens may fade, he comes back strong.
And whenever it seems that Wilkens has Toledo on the end of his jab, Toledo gets inside and does some nice body work. Been some good skills displayed by both fighters.
One more warning for Wilkens. He has used his forearms quite effectively. Little forearm shiver.
Little forearm shiver. The Barcelona Bob, the football man. But,
good combination there.
Fighters do that when they've exhausted their wind supply a lot. They're a little tired, they're off balance, and sometimes the forearm substitutes for the glove.
And Toledo is starting to slap a little bit. He's scoring, but he's not punching the way he did earlier on. Just past the midway point of this fourth and final round. It is up for grabs. Little step there by Toledo to score.
Fighters that look like they studied each other for weeks before they came in the ring. There have been very few surprises. Wilkens has tried to land the right hand, and that's going to be a critical point taken away.
Yes. And you can't say that referee Newman did not warn Wilkens. He's warned him several times.
And referees are reluctant to take the points away from fighters, especially in fights of this distance where it has such a critical impact. But Wilkens had his warnings. And it's just, in his case, I think a matter of losing concentration, and that's why he committed the foul again.
Final 30 seconds of the fight. It has been a good one. Could go down to the last flurry.
There he's doing it again. Wilkens trying to save his breath here by pushing down his opponent and slowing the fight up.
This is it. Closing seconds of the fight. It will be tough to score, and that 1 point that Wilkens lost could be big. And Toledo finishes strong. And these two Patterson natives jaw and then hug.
They look like they could go another 4. Like that was just a warm-up, really.
Both fighters at 4 and 2. Did that man, Shawn Wilkens, go to 5 and 2?
I think the point he lost in the last round cost him.
There is Frank Toledo. He is also 4 and 2 with 1 knockout. 122-pound fighter, 20 years of age, and Wilkens also at 20.
Well, if Wilkens does lose the fight because of that point, it's a good lesson to learn early in his career about the fouls. Sometimes if you get the slack early in your career, then get into a big fight and something gets taken away, as it did Hector Camacho recently, it can be bad for you.
Well, Shawn Wilkens was warned for forearms on numerous occasions. Let's see it here.
And holding and hitting as well.
Right there. So that 1 point could give that man, Frank Toledo, a nice victory. Two good-looking young fighters, though.
And fought a nice 4-round fight. Looked like they were at times in condition to go 6.
Let's hear what our ring announcer James Murata has to say.
Here is the decision of the judges. Judge Eugene Grant sees the fight 40-35. Judge Deborah Barnes 39-37. Judge Al DeVito 40-36. All for the winner by unanimous decision, Frank Holy Toledo.
Well, Frank Toledo wins what is a lopsided decision on the scorecard of the judges. Toledo, a unanimous winner over Shawn Wilkens. He is now 5 and 2. Holy Toledo, he won. Frank Toledo wins a unanimous decision. Regilio Weekly Magazine of Boxing News.
Brought to you tonight by Ace Hardware Corporation. Ace is the place. Well, Al, the Mirage will be the place on June 28th.
Yes.
Razor Ruddock and Mike Tyson are going to do it again.
Yeah, they did it once before, didn't they? But they didn't do all of it before, I guess, at least as far as some people are concerned. Well, Murad Muhammad and Razor Ruddock were very mad at Richard Steele for stopping that bout, but maybe they should thank him because that may have led to them getting the rematch on June 28th. That fight had been stopped a couple of rounds later or earlier. It might not have created the kind of furor it did, and now Ruddock has another shot at Tyson.
So in retrospect, as we mentioned, Richard Steele's stoppage of the fight will make Razor Ruddock probably another $1 million.
It will indeed, and give him another shot at Tyson, and if he can find a way to use that right hand occasionally, he might give himself a better chance, but it's going to be a tough night, tough for Ruddock to overcome Tyson even then.
And of course, the question is, will the public buy it? Speaking of guys who are looking for another chance, Calvin Grove was once a champion. He is looking for another chance, and he took a bit of a stepping stone. The other night, he defeated Dennis Cruz, yet another Cruz. We'll be seeing Stevie Cruz a little bit later, but he did it in impressive fashion here.
He really did, and Calvin Grove showed that he is still a credible junior lightweight / featherweight, depending on which weight he decides to fight at. He has great skills, that great uppercut. You've done his fights before. He is a boxer who could climb back into world contention.
So a winner for Calvin Grove, and he did so in impressive fashion. He does seem to be a guy now who has his mind back on business.
Yeah, I think he does, and that's important for him because he has the skills if he can stay dedicated and stay active.
Very quickly, Al, a note on Iran Barkley.
Iran Barkley has dropped his longtime manager, John Reitz. He is training again. He had the detached retina after the Nigel Benn fight. We will see Iran Barkley back in action soon.
Let's take a look at the guide. What's down the road in the sport of boxing? Some interesting fights upcoming. Eddie Cook, a guy who has shown an ability to whack guys out of there in a big hurry, has not shown yet, though, that he has an excellent beard. He may be tested. Vince Phillips and Mike Stinger Johnson. Johnson looking to make a bit of a comeback, too. He lost his last fight up in Gardnerville. That was on July 4th. That'll be Sunday, April 7th. Kevin Pompey, local favorite in Albany, will be there for that one against Santos Cardona. That's a tough test for Kevin Pompey, and it should be a most entertaining fight, I think. And finally, Mike Ayala, member of the Fighting Ayala family, taking on Lee Cargill. That'll be Friday night, April 12th. It'll take place in San Antonio, and you can watch it on Telemundo. And finally, a note that, frankly, I hated to see, and it is one regarding Sugar Ray Leonard.
Well, Sugar Ray Leonard reported in the Los Angeles Times kind of late in the game that last year when his divorce proceedings were going on, his wife in a deposition